today on CityCast Madison. It's Thursday, so of course we're dishing on Madison's food scene. You might have heard we're in Sober October, and one alternative to drinking alcohol is drinking hemp-infused bevies. That is, drinks that contain CBD and hemp-derived THC. One local business on the scene is Raw Wellness, a hemp and herbal company that makes sparkling THC drinks, gummies, tinctures, and more. Plus, they source hemp from Wisconsin-based farmers. Raw Wellness as a business is taking a hold in Madison. And today, they are hosting their grand opening for their new permanent store location over on Atwood Ave. To learn more, we sat down with the founder of Raw Wellness, Richard Bowman, and their chief herbalist, Ala Sipin, also a co-founder of Nasala Kombucha, to ask about their mission and products. It's Thursday, October 10th. I'm Bianca Martin, and here's what Madison's talking about. Ala, hello.
Hi.
And Richard, how are you?
Every day above ground's a good day.
That is so true. And it's a good day because I'm talking with you two, the loveliest couple in the world who's also doing really friggin' cool stuff. And you guys have really wonderful products. Tell us, what is Raw Wellness and how did you come up with that name?
Well, I'll go with the name, I guess. We wanted something to be raw with the elements, to keep our integrity into what we're trying to work with and show a synergistic lifestyle. So in doing that, we know that we're a part of the space, and the rolling paper company obviously is RAW. We wanted to sort of stand by ourselves, stand on our own. We took the W away, and if you're going to say something that you really care about, we believe that you say it with your heart, say it with your chest, so you add an exclamation mark. And that's just sort of where it came from, just really being raw to the elements. And then shortly after that, we looked at each other and realized it was Richard and Ala, which just made it perfect.
Yeah.
Yes. It makes me think of Sun Ra, too, because you guys just have great vibes.
It's huge with what we're doing.
It's of the earth. It's of the elements. It's pure. It's in its raw form. We're all about working synergistically with the plant medicines. And so how do we show the functionality of hemp with other botanicals for a wellness forward approach is where Raw, came from. We actually started the company because of Richard's dog and our experience with hemp and his dog at a time when
cancer came in real hard and fast for Polar Bear, and we had no idea. So we're very comfortable, obviously, with our cannabis and our hemp lifestyle. That's something that we're very open about. And in doing that, it was a night, and, we realized that she just wasn't doing well. It was a night that we were having dinner, and she didn't get up for a 1 and a 2 during dinner. And, we went to a vet, quality of life, and we weren't prepared for that. And I've been using CBD to help with my diabetes and how it manages myself. And we can talk more about that and sort of how this can help the consumer. But we offered it to Polar Bear, and in a few days, we saw a dog we hadn't seen in years. I mean, wagging her tail, getting off, running up and down stairs. And it went on. I mean, after we asked a couple of vets, it's a Band-Aid over a bullet hole. We know what's going to happen, but it offered her the peace and the inflammation that was really contracting in her heart. So a fluid was surrounding her heart and stopping it from being able to beat. And one of these days, it just wasn't going to dissipate. And it was just going to stop, and she'd go into cardiac arrest. So that's not how it ended. But either way, CBD gave us an additional 4.5 months, and it allowed us and my son at the time to say goodbye to this dog he's had all his life. And once we saw the benefits in not only what it can do in people, but in animals, it just was remarkable. So we decided to make a change and decided to go this direction. Bring the power to the people, really.
Yeah, and really for me, it was a way, it was at the end of my time with Nasala and
Nasala Kombucha, which you co-founded, and one of the most popular brands of kombucha.
I mean, let's plug that really quick. This woman is hands down a pioneer. And I mean, if we're being honest, she's absolutely a pioneer in the kombucha space, which we can touch on some more too, because that is triumphant. It's amazing what they did.
Yeah, so this was a way, Nasala was really my first attempt to really think about how do you put something out there that will be benefit to a lot of people in an easy way, right? Like you drink something, how hard, And it was all about education and awareness at the time, too, with kombucha and what it was, because it was very new to the Midwest, especially to Wisconsin. And so raw wellness is really a way for me to get back to my herbalist roots and really get back to the plants and come up with formulations and things that are going to help people in a way that maybe we have forgotten that this plant can do for us. Because there's, the narratives, we're both 90, Gen Xers. And so we grew up with the DARE movement and
exactly
all of that. And like, it's a gateway drug. It's this, you're going to be a loser. You're a stone. Like,
I learned by watching you, Dad.
Yeah. Like all these negative connotations when really this is a beautiful plant from Mother Earth that has so many healing capabilities across so many different, spectrums.
I think something that's important too that we focus on, you're going to notice in this that we're going to say certain buzzwords, because that's a wonderful way for people to attach, approach, and see themselves in stories that we do. And I think something that's important is raw wellness is a platform for education and awareness through the human connection. And that really is our mission, to get out there and to talk to people, to empower people to find themselves. And I think that's really special that we're able to give a bit of ourselves into what we're doing.
It's incredibly special, and I actually met you guys together. We were sitting at Cordial, and I just felt your energy and your storytelling, and it's just so apparent to me this morning chatting with you again. And this beautiful connection that you two have. You really complement each other, coming from two different spaces. And I wanted to just hear a little bit more about your story, Richard, because you shared about your dog, and also you as a person have been helped by CBD. I know I have. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Absolutely. And I think what's nice is that it sort of shows our dynamic and how we work in this company and well as a team. When you sort of listen to what I talk about and how you're asking these questions and what it does for me, it shows from a consumer standpoint, which I think is important. A lot of what we're doing is storytelling and relating to people and offering ourselves so you can see yourself maybe in our story. What it's done for me is helped me in my type 1 diabetes. I've been a type 1 diabetic for over 27 years, and I'd like to say doing quite well for myself. I mean, that's a long time to be in this position, in that chair. And it's helped me maintain my blood sugar and help with keeping my A1Cs at a certain place. And what's the best way to sort of explain?
It's obviously the hemp plant or no other plant. When you have type 1 diabetes, it's not like type 2 where you can change your diet and exercise and all those things help, obviously.
I'm insulin dependent.
Right. But so he's insulin dependent for the rest of his life, right? And so what this plant does, especially when you work with other plants as well within the formula, is it really helps, stress affects your A1Cs. Your mood, your sleep patterns, all of these things.
Adrenaline.
Can make your blood sugars fluctuate more so than they would if you aren't stressed, if you're totally having an amazing day. And I've noticed it, like when Richard is more stressed, like his blood sugar will fluctuate. And when he has the CBD, it really helps regulate that.
And I think there's so much more attention too on stress and how it impacts the body. It's this, it's really an epidemic right now for so many people, and how it really reinforces illnesses in our body. And I can speak in terms of CBD and how it's impacted me. I'm a little stressed. I have anxiety and all the things. And I turn to CBD like when I'm having a really, really stressful day, and it just like calms me. And I'm not adding to the inflammation. Like, isn't that part of the component? It's like limiting inflammation.
So a lot with CBD is to help with sleeplessness, anxiety, and inflammation. And in terms of how I'm using it and how other people in immune deficiency or in sort of a wellness category that way, it helps your body be able to sort of just relax and focus on inflammation that might be hurting in a certain direction. So what I found in using this is how I can help myself, and then we can bring this platform to other people. And we can now start to show this positive medicinal narrative through the help of a synergistic lifestyle that we're able to provide. So I can bring, again, that sort of component of a user and consumer, and Ala is bringing this herbalist knowledge. And we call her our herbal alchemist, which we think is really wonderful. I mean,
for some people, I like to explain it. It's almost like, if you're taking CBD, it's not like all of a sudden you're like, I'm stressed, I'm not stressed. No. It's almost like when you think back on your day, it's almost like you took a long, deep exhale, and it was like something just came off your shoulders, and you don't even realize it in the moment, maybe. But when you look back, for a lot of people, what they have described to us is that it's almost like an exhale. Like you're able to just release and without even realizing it in a way, you know?
Yeah, I definitely relate to that. And it is really interesting. You mentioned that you call Allah, you're the herbal alchemist for Ra. And I understand you started studying plant medicine 25 years ago. What led you to that?
So, talking about stress, well, my family immigrated from Russia back in 1978. And that back at that time, you know, like it's not like it was a regular thing. Like there wasn't as much immigrants coming in. People didn't really know. And it was at the end of the Cold War. And so there was a lot of stress as a kid growing up in that. And I developed ulcers as a child through my whole childhood, my high school. Like I was hospitalized. I constantly had stomach issues. And it was all because I would just take it all in, keep it all in, not exhale. And it made me sick. And so when I was living in California in the mid to late 90s, I met a Russian herbalist, and she within a month was able to help me heal my stomach ulcers and what was going on with my stomach that I've been suffering for years and tried every form of medication for and this and that. And these plants really spoke to me. And the more I started diving into them, I went to herbal school in the late 90s. Before even moving to Wisconsin. And a lot of my upbringing in Russia, my grandfather used a lot of plant medicine as I was growing up, because that's what we had available, right? And so when we moved into the US, a lot of that, you know, my parents wanted to westernize as much as possible. So a lot of that kind of got buried. And when I started diving back into the plants, they felt like family to me. It felt like I finally was like, oh, okay, this is where I'm supposed to be. And I really connected with the medicine and really started studying it. And that's what I've been doing since then.
One of the things of my memories, and I'll be honest about this, one of the first times I fell in love with this woman in a personal level and in a business level, but personally, was one of our first interactions. And we were walking down Madison. I'm living in Milwaukee, and I'm over here. We're spending time together, and we're walking. And this beautiful woman is just walking by these plants so casually. And she just brushes her hand against it and just touches it for a second and then smells it, but keeping eye contact with me like it's nothing. Like, this is a friend of mine. I'm just giving a quick five or, hey, girl, how you doing, sort of thing. And just connects with this plant and keeps on with the conversation. I've got goosebumps right now. And I looked at her thinking, my God, this is beauty in its purest form. I mean, this woman is authentic and wonderful and beautiful, and I love her.
I mean, honestly, it's so moving to see you guys and hear your stories and just how powerful your personal experiences are, and bringing it to then try and with this product and using CBD and turning it into a business. So it's a beautiful thing. And I wanted to ask, Alla, as Richard just so beautifully set up, you are the one making the concoctions. You're doing that sort of work. How do you combine your deep knowledge of traditional plant medicine with the modern CBD-based products? Like, what is unique about the fusions in your formulas?
I'm very connected to the plants, and I know how they work. So we have an endocannabinoid system within our bodies. All parts of the hemp plant or cannabis plant, they're all cannabinoids. So THC, CBD, CBG, CBN, all of them, they're all cannabinoids. And that is why when we ingest them or smoke them, however we put them into our bodies, those cannabinoids speak to the endocannabinoid system within our bodies and able to bring ourselves back to an even plane. So that's why, for instance, CBD can work for one person with anxiety, another person with inflammation, and another person with pain relief. It's the same plant. How does it know that I don't have anxiety going on right now? I'm having struggles with inflammation. Well, it's because of that endocannabinoid system that we have. And we forget that plants are smart. They are sentient beings. They have
Absolutely
energy.
sentient.
They have all these things just because they don't verbally speak to us like we associate.
Communication.
Yeah. So when I look at it, I think about like, okay, if I have pain and inflammation, how can I take the hemp plant and all of its cannabinoids and pair it with some other plants that will enhance that for you? So for instance, we have a a gummy that's pineapple, but it also has turmeric and ginger and licorice root, lemongrass. So all these things, as well as CBD and THC. So all those herbs help accentuate the anti-inflammatory properties of the hemp plant.
Wild medicine.
Right.
Yes.
So that's kind of how I approach it. So everything that we do is coming from that thought process.
A synergistic lifestyle with Mother Earth. And really a way of thinking of it as well is that we are organic computers. And these cannabinoids and these terpenes, these are organic computer programs. And they help our body. Our body understands how to receive these. We're learning how. And through the education and the knowledge of what Allah has in pairing these, I've learned so much about how to do this and how to sort of work with Mother Earth in a way that leads us into a more wellness, holistic, synergistic lifestyle if you're open to listen.
Yeah. I mean, let's be honest here. Most of us, if we are familiar with the cannabis scene, have a phone number we can call and, get high.
There.
Like it's not that difficult, right? And so we look at it like, what else can we do? Because, getting high is great. You want to feel good, feeling elevated. It's a great feeling, but why not boost our immunity while we're doing it? Why not support our kidney and livers? Why not have a beverage that can also, support our nervous system and our adrenals while it tastes great and we're getting an elevated feeling and can stay away from alcohol if we choose.
I'm really glad that you brought this up because my next question was, what's on my mind is that it's Sober October. That's a new term that I learned. So I'm trying to do Sober October, and I'm very socialized to go grab a beer with friends and whatnot. But I've seen your products in local businesses and, some other local companies, and think like, oh, well, this is an option if I still want to experience kind of like a buzz, which is something that, like you said, I appreciate you saying, that can be a nice, beautiful thing. We don't have to, villainize that.
And that's something too. And now this is going to sort of bring us into sort of those buzzwords. The first one here I want to talk about is intentional. A lot of what we're doing is intentional. We realize that the space is so easy to fall under the niche of it's hemp, it's getting high, it's pot, we're legalizing, into getting there. And that's wonderful. And we appreciate those companies and they do wonderful things. But we're focused in a wellness standpoint. And what we're trying to show is functionality in a day-to-day basis, strip away the narrative, change the story. And when we talk about Sober October, that allows us to show that functionality. It shows that we can offer products that can give you something to still give you an elevated feeling if that's what you're looking for, still participate in the hemp space, and dare I say a more responsible category in it, right?
Yeah, because, I've been in the beverage industry for over 15 years. And when we first started in the Sala, that was another focus we had was like, this could be an alternative at the bars and restaurants for people that don't want alcohol. And at the time, it was just like a joke. People were like, what are you talking about? What do you mean you don't want alcohol? But now the fact that there's all of a sudden another month dedicated to being sober tells me that this category, this non-alcoholic category is growing fast and people are looking for alternatives.
And we know that being social with one another is a part of our wellness and getting together. And so having these non-alcoholic options for so many people and for different reasons is key. I'm curious about the term California sober.
We love the term California sober, honestly, because people relate to what that term is. And basically it means you don't drink alcohol anymore. You partake in cannabis, you partake in mushrooms, you partake in other things to get yourself elevated, to have that uplifting feeling that some people associate alcohol with, without the addiction.
In a pure organic way, it really falls in line. I mean, when we heard California Sober, I remember thinking like, oh my God, that's exactly what we're promoting, right? Find a more holistic, natural way to do this. Our bodies are, again, organic computers. When we start putting synthesized products in our bodies, they don't understand it. You're forcing your body to deal with something it doesn't get. I'm a type 1 diabetic. I know sugar isn't great for me, but I can promise you, if I'm using organic sweeteners and I function it with my insulin, my body can understand, receive, and produce it and work with it in a certain way. But if I'm putting a bunch of synthetic things in, okay, now I've conquered the glycemic level, but what did it take me chemical-wise and solvents and solution-wise to get there? How did I get to decaf coffee? How did I get to Diet Coke? I may not have this and that there, but it took me a lot of other steps and systems and chemistry to do that.
That's so real. And I hear that you have some new products that y'all are excited about. And I think you talked about one gummy that sounded exciting. Can you tell us about your gummies and your bevies?
Super stoked. So like that coincides with, the raw of the elements, and what you were saying is you will find in our beverages, we don't use alternative sweeteners. We use agave, we use organic cane sugar, because it's raw of it's from the earth. Nothing else has been done to it. But our new beverages, we're super excited. We have a passion fruit lemongrass, and we have a pomegranate rosé. Both of those are herbal based. Just to give you a little background, like when I was developing these, the passion fruit lemongrass, it has chamomile, it has lemon verbena, it has herbs in it to help, relax your nervous system. And that little mode of relaxation paired with the passion fruit really reminded me of being at a beach, because beaches really calm me down. And I spent a lot of time going to the islands when I was really stressed and having a really hard time in my life. And just like that feeling of like sitting at the beach, you have your drink, you've got the waves crashing, and that passion fruit flavor, that smell, that taste just like brings me right back to that. And that's kind of what I was hoping to recreate with this beverage. And then the pomegranate rosé is more of, it's got elderberries, it's got currants, it's got rose hips, it's got cinnamon. So it has all the pomegranate. So it has all these antioxidants and immune boosting herbs, and herbs to support your adrenal system. So while you're drinking it, you're also boosting your immune system, which is really important going into fall and winter. And, our lifestyles, we're constantly bombarding ourselves with things that bring our immune system down. So it's just a little bit to help bump it up.
And it shows a way again too how we're using these flavors and this knowledge. One of the best ways I think to offer, if you're talking about just how people handle things socially, when someone comes to your home, when you're going somewhere, you often have something to drink. It's something psychologically that people are more accepting and willing to try if you're going to do it in an adjustment way. We are very, very, very intentional with the products, the decisions, and the things that we're doing, because we realize everybody's watching us right now, and we're all mavericks. We're putting lines in the sand for the next generations. There are no precedents yet. We're establishing those now, and we want to do it in the way that we feel is the best way to offer people knowledge and power to make choices for themselves through what we found out in our own experiences and the knowledge that we have and that we're learning. And I think it's really powerful. It's a powerful message.
Well, it's a powerful message, and you guys are a powerful couple, and we're so lucky to have you in our community doing this work. And when you're describing the products and your thoughtfulness and in what you're putting into the products, all of those herbs are things that I'm studying about and learning. I'm like, oh my God, boom, boom. Those are powerhouses, products that you're talking about. So tell us, before we let you go, where can people find raw products and find you in case they have any questions?
Yeah, I mean, you can always email us, you can call us. We're very open and we love talking to people.
Love it.
You can find our beverages at like Woodman's and Willie West and a lot of other locations that are popping up.
Gamma Ray Bar.
100%.
100%.
Love Gamma Ray Bar.
Trixie's has us. You can find ours at Zip Dang on Monroe, which is wonderful.
And one thing that's really exciting, actually, is a friend of ours, Nora, is opening up a new vintage boutique on Atwood, where Midwest Beauty House is going to be. And we're going to have our own space in there. Where Midwest Beauty House used to be, yes. Opening day is October 11th, and we're going to have not only all of our products in there that people are used to, like our gummies and our drinks, but we'll have bath salts and other salves and creams and different things that I'm super passionate about creating in small batches for people. So we're looking at it almost like a flagship spot for us. And
it sort of brings us back to where we are again with people. One of our favorite words as a company, and I guess as a couple as well, is collaboration. We're here to grow together. There's so much, dare I say, meat on the bone here that we don't have to keep our cards close to our chest in the hemp space. But now when we start looking aside from that into small businesses, this is a wonderful pairing and collaboration. I mean, the grace of what we're able to do in this space and what's been allowed for us to bring into another small business is humbling and beautiful. And we want to mirror that for other companies. We should all be working together. Always, in everything we do, small business. I mean, local love is big in
local love.
Local love is real for us.
supporting each other as much as we can. Because
Lift each other always.
That's really all we have full control over is our communities, what is happening in our immediate surroundings, and hopefully it'll ripple out.
And how we react in our
Further out,
communities, how we show up in our communities.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate your intentionality and showing up to be here on CityCast Madison today. Just absolute gorgeous energy, gorgeous business, gorgeous ideas and products. Really grateful to you both. Thank you so much, Richard, Alla.
Bianca, it's so awesome talking to you.
Really, it's a privilege. We've been wanting to do this. Thank you.
That's Alla Tippin, Chief Herbalist, and Richard Bowman, founder of Raw Wellness. If you want to check out their grand opening today, Thursday, October 10th, from 4 to 8 p.m. at the Arbor House, or find out more about their story on their website, head to our show notes for links. That's all for today here on CityCast Madison. I'm Bianca Martin. If you enjoyed the show, why not share this episode with your most 420 friendly friend? We'll be back tomorrow morning with more stories from around the city. Until then, be well, be healthy.